Glossing up so I can run this mouth. Now focus. Scary story time. In Appalachia, if someone knocks on your door after midnight, do not answer it, even if they know your name. So it's 2003. Dana had just broke up with her boyfriend that they'd been dating like long-term or whatever. And her brother helped her find this little house on the edge of a holler. Just said that it was like way out in the middle of nowhere, a long driveway, a cute little house. It had 2 bay windows with a little like etched in front door, you know, it wasn't creepy at all. She's living there, everything's going great, until one night she's watching TV, she's up late, and she hears a knock at the door. And she said it wasn't even like a wham wham wham, it was just like a normal like. She kind of looks towards the door like, what the hell? Like she didn't hear a car or anything pull up. So she's kind of freaked out already, but then it says, open the door, Dana. Just really plain, like he knew her or something. She did not recognize the voice. Freaked out. I'm freaked out listening to it. So she gets up to go like see who's at the door, and she's just kind of standing at the door trying to figure out what to do next. And he says, I can hear you breathing, Dana. What? So she steps over to one of the little bay window things, and she can see back in this way, and she sees that it is a man, and he is standing there with his forehead on her door, and he's leaned forward. She said he was like muddy looking. He had on overalls, like a jean overall, bare feet, no shoes whatsoever. There's no car anywhere to be found. She runs over, gets her phone, calls her brother because he lived like 15 minutes up the road, and she knew he could get to her quicker than the cops could. So as she's talking to her brother, she's whispering, you know, like there's some weirdo on the front porch, like come help quick, I don't know who this guy is. He tells her, the guy on the porch through the door, hang up the phone. Sir, no. She yells back, I'm not hanging up. I'm not hanging up the phone. He starts laughing. He's laughing and tapping his foot on the front porch. Her brother got there in 12 minutes. So this went on for 12 minutes. Right before her brother gets there, like right before he's about to turn down the drive, that thing pushes off the door, then walks off the porch, and she watches him just like walk into the wood line. Brother runs up to the front porch. She opens the door. She tells him he just ran off into the woods. The brother goes off into the woods to see if he can find the guy or whatever. There are muddy prints, just like they just appeared at her door, and then you could follow them off the porch, but none coming onto the porch. And the only thing that he did to the porch was he unscrewed the light bulb just a little bit, not fully, but enough that where it wouldn't come on. Yeah, someone knocks on your door, don't open it. Did a skinwalker get in his car? Gloss on so I can run this mouth. Now focus. Scary story time. I have picture proof. I will show you, but you have to listen to the story first. Seth grew up with his grandmother in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. Now, he said this happened last fall. He was a freshman in college. He came home for fall break, and he noticed that his grandmother was acting a little weird, like a little off, kind of like she was nervous or something. Now, he said that he was brought up superstitious. Like, she explained to him how dangerous the Appalachian Mountains were and not to play around with any of that stuff, and he believed her, but he didn't really buy into it as much as she did. All of his friends are home for break. He's going to go to a friend's house for a party. As he's leaving, she goes to give him like a hug goodbye and pulls him in and tells him, hey, if you see anyone standing in the road, do not roll your window down. He was used to her saying things like this, so he just kind of nods, and she looks at him again and she's like, no, I'm serious, like don't. He knows that she's acting a little strange, but he's kind of used to her being like that, so he gives her a kiss goodbye, goes on his way. He's almost to his friend's house. He's driving down this like winding road when he comes around the corner, and sure enough, there's a woman standing in the road. Standing there in what he described as like this dress that looked like it was homemade, like she'd made it herself, and she's looking at the ground. Now, being from the Appalachian Mountains, he said that a lot of people do things there that they shouldn't be doing, so he thinks that might be what's going on with her, and that's why she's standing in the road. So he just kind of like flicks the lights at her like, hey, I'm here, you know, are you gonna get out of the road or what? She doesn't move. So as he's going to like reach for the door to roll the window down, that's when he remembers that his grandma was like, hey, wait, don't do that. And as he's doing that, he looks at her again, and she's looking at him now, and she like tilted her head in the direction of his hand, and then she smiled. That creeped him out enough that he broke eye contact and just looked down, and that's when he notices that she's on her toes, like the tips of her toes like leaned forward. Think Rose from Titanic, tip of her toes. That was enough to stop him in his tracks, but not enough to stop him from just cracking the window just a little bit. And apparently that's all it took, because immediately he gets like a boom on the back of his headrest. It's knocked forward, and as he does, he like, his head goes like that, and then he looks back up, and he said when he did, she was gone. He knew instantly that she was in the back. Immediately turns around like, you know, like this, and heads back to his grandma's house. jumps out of the truck, runs back into his grandma, finds his grandma sitting at the dining room table, and she just looks at him and says, "You cracked the window, didn't you?" I don't know, crack the window means like you just, bring it down a little bit. But anyway, he said, yeah, he did by accident. And she said, "Did you look in the rear view on the way home?" He said, "No, I just turned around, got out of there and came here." And she said, "Well, as long as you didn't look in the rear view, then she won't come in the house." What rule is that? The next morning he finds this. What happened in this car? Who did this? Who put these scratches in this headrest? Why are there only like 3 marks too? The woman did that, then the thing or whatever, the skinwalker, whatever it was, did that. Why was that all they wanted and then they just left him alone after that? Why are skinwalkers so unpredictable? One thing I do know is you will never find me reaching to roll the window down in Appalachia, not even in the drive-thru. I'm going in. The little girl was laughing at the man in the hallway, but there was no hallway. Gloss on so I can run this mouth. Now focus. Scary story time. Callie had just turned 16. She was wanting to get a new car, so she was trying to find jobs. Her parents knew a lot of people. They knew a lot of people with kids, so she started babysitting. This particular night, she had no idea who these people were, but her parents knew them, so she thought it would be fine. They had a little girl. She was 4. He said the setup was already weird. The house had no hallways whatsoever, but the living room had like 3 doors on one wall, which was like the bedroom. She said it didn't really make sense, the layout of the house. Immediately, the little girl starts acting weird. She's sitting over in the corner, looking towards like the dark area, just like giggling. And finally, Callie says, "Okay, what are you laughing at?" And she said, "Oh, the man in the hallway." There's no hallway. She laughs it off because kids say weird things sometimes. She didn't think much of it. This is like now 9 o'clock. She puts her to bed. It's now like 9:30 when she starts hearing like pacing. It's like footsteps, but she can't find where they're coming from. And it's over in the corner where the little girl was sitting laughing at the hallway. She has her ear up against the wall. She's like trying to listen to see what it is, to see if it's like an animal or something. But she said it was very distinct, like steps, and it sounded like cowboy boots or something. Her first thought is, great, there's something wrong with a pipe or something. This is going to cause a big ordeal. They're going to blame me. Let me call the parents and see if they know of anything that could be going on. They're playing cards at some of their friend's house or something. She calls them. They're like, I don't know what it would be. It doesn't seem like it'd be anything. There's really nothing behind that wall. Don't worry about it. She's like, cool, whatever. She hangs up. She's sitting in the chair. She has the TV on, but she's reading a book when she felt like someone was staring at her. And she looked up and boom, it's that little girl just like staring at her. She jumps back, stares at the little girl. The little girl just says, "He doesn't like when you ask about him." Okay, first, back up. Who? The man in the hallway. She's freaking out at this point. She sends the little girl back to bed. She's got about maybe 20 minutes before the parents are supposed to be back. So she just sits in the chair staring at that corner, waiting for something to happen. Finally, it's time for her to go home. Goes home and tells her mom and dad, "Hey, I'm not sitting for them anymore. Just don't even offer me up. It's weird over there." Years go by. She goes to school. She comes back from college one time. She's like sitting at the kitchen table and her mom and dad's talking about their friend's renovations in the hallway that they found. And she yells out to her mom, like, "What are you talking about? What extra hallway?" The mom fills her in that the family that she babysat for, they decided to do some renovations to the house because it never really made sense how their living room didn't have like a flow of traffic to the kitchen or something. I don't know. They ripped the wall out and there was a hallway there that had always been there that someone had closed in. They were going to have to get new floor because there were like divots where someone had marched back and forth with heavy boot prints. Yeah, if a kid starts talking about a hallway, look for it. If someone calls your name in the Appalachian Mountains, don't answer it. Gloss on so I can run this mouth. Now focus. Scary story time. It's 1998 in a holler in eastern Kentucky. Ivy is 15. She's home alone. Her parents worked 3rd shift at the local hospital, but her mom had worked a lot of shifts that week, so she was going to be coming home, but she said she would be there around 12:30, 1 o'clock. So she was excited that her mom was actually going to be home that night, so she thought she'd do something nice for her, so she decides to make cookies. So while she's waiting on the cookies, she's sitting on the couch watching TV when she hears her mom yell from the driveway, like, "Ivy, come help with these groceries." Immediately she freezes because she didn't hear her mom pull up. She didn't see lights or anything like that. Plus it's like 11:30 at night. She looked at the clock. She's confused, like, why would mom be here? Where did she get groceries? Because the local grocery store closed at like 8. So she's already on high alert. So she's like waiting to see if maybe she just thought she heard it when again, "Ivy, come out here." So she sneaks over to the door, like turns the lights off, looks outside. There's no car, no mom, no lights, nothing, right? So she squats down and she's just kind of waiting. She's nervous now because she's super freaked out because who's outside, when she hears like, Ivy, come get these groceries, like real mean, which her mom wouldn't do. So now she knows something's up. She runs over and gets between the couch and the window on the side of the house, and there's a curtain. She's kind of behind the curtain a little bit, but now she hears the voice again yelling at her, like this mean guttural, like, Ivy, coming from the window right beside her instead of the front. So now she's super freaked out, crawls over to another window. She's just trying to get away from the sound, and it just keeps following her, yelling through the window, like shaking the windows, doing all the stuff, trying to get in. This goes on for like an hour before her mom finally comes home. She knows it's her mom because she hears like the keys jingling, and she's like trying to get in or whatever. She meets her mom at the door, freaked out, tells her mom everything. Plus the cookies were burning. It was like a whole thing. They wait until the dad gets home. The dad walks around the house that morning. There's red clay, like clumps of clay that did not come from the area. She said it was almost like a Play-Doh-y, like mixture type something. And in the footprints, it's like the balls of someone's feet, but the outside, like just these 3 toes, like they were tiptoeing and kind of like leaned out awkwardly. So weird. Have you ever had anything like that happen to you? They asked around the holler, said that a lot of people had had it happen, the clay showing up around the like windows and different family members calling out to the ones in the house. But like I said, if you hear someone calling your name, don't answer it. So he just knocked him to the ground and then left him there? Gloss on so I can run this mouth. Now focus. Scary story time. I don't want to leave any details out of this story, so I'm going to read you the email and then I'm going to run my mouth. I'm not proud of who I was back then, so I guess this is me admitting I was wrong about a lot of things. Fall 2010, senior year, starting pitcher. I walked around like I was 10 feet tall, thought being good at baseball meant I was better than everyone. The party was at this abandoned barn about 15 minutes outside of town. Gravel road that turned into ruts, wood thick on both sides, real Appalachian woods. At first, we were outside around a fire. Once it got dark, some of the girls started saying they kept hearing something moving behind the barn. Instead of calming them down, we decided it would be funny to move everyone inside and investigate. Really, we just wanted to scare them a little. Inside the barn, we all noticed it right away. An old rope ladder hanging down from the loft. Thick rope with wooden slats. That's not normal. Everybody there grew up around barns. Almost all of us had one at home. You use solid wooden ladders bolted in, not rope, not something that sways like that. We all looked at it, didn't say much. Then Tyler decided he'd climb it. The girls were squealing, telling him not to. He loved the attention, grinning the whole way up. Halfway up, he goes, "What if something's up there?" Then he gets to the top and said, "There's something," and then he disappeared. Not fell, not slipped, gone, like someone yanked him backward out of sight. We all thought he was joking at first, waiting for him to pop up laughing, but he didn't. The girls started yelling at us to go get him, saying this wasn't funny anymore. They thought we were messing with him. We were all looking at each other because this was not part of anything we'd planned. They kept pushing me to go since I was the brave one. I did not want to. My stomach felt cold all of a sudden. I yelled up, "Tyler, knock it off, it's not funny." Nothing. I put one foot on the ladder, then another, took maybe 2 steps up. That's when he screamed. It was the worst sound I'd ever heard come out of a person. Deep, real, not playful at all. He suddenly came back into view at the top, scrambling, screaming, "Move, move," as he slid down the rope ladder. Before I could get out of the way, he lost his footing and crashed into me, and we both hit the ground hard. He was sitting there on the dirt, pointing to the loft, pushing himself backward like something was coming down after him. "Run, now!" he kept yelling. He scrambled up and bolted for the door. It took about half a second for this shock to wear off. Then everyone was screaming. The girls ran fast. We were right behind them. I jumped in my truck and reached into my pocket for my keys. They weren't there. My heart dropped. Everyone else was already peeling out, gravel flying. I was the last one. That's when I realized my keys must have fallen out when he knocked me down. I grabbed my phone, no service. From inside the barn, I heard something dragging across wood, slow, heavy. 3 thuds on the floor below the loft. 1, 2, 3. Like something had just climbed down. I reached into my glove box and grabbed a flashlight. I had to go back in. I didn't have a choice. I was shining the flashlight in the direction of the ladder, and that's when I saw them. My keys were on the ground, right under the rope ladder, not where I remembered falling. These were centered, like they'd been placed there. The ladder wasn't moving. I didn't look up. I couldn't. I grabbed them and ran. As I slammed my truck door, something hit the roof of my truck hard enough to leave a dent. Threw it in reverse, my headlights swept across the loft. For half a second, I saw a shape crouched at the edge, too long, arms hanging lower than they should be, and eyes that caught the light. Tyler didn't stop running that night. He ran all the way home, about 6 miles. He didn't come back to school. He ended up spending 15 months in a psych ward 2 counties over. Wouldn't talk about what he saw, just kept saying it wasn't alone up there. I still live in the mountains, but my kids know to stay away from barn parties. Is that not the scariest story? That is a scary story. Love these stories. I don't know what it was. I don't want to know what it was, but I could picture it the whole time that I was reading it. Thanks so much for sending it in. If you have stories like this, send them to me.